If you've watched any of my recent videos, you may have noticed these Rubik's Cubes behind me and thought, what? Why does he have so many of those? Well, a friend of mine named Kristen had one, and she had a walkthrough pamphlet of how to actually solve a Rubik's Cube, and I've always wanted to learn how, so I borrowed it, and then I bought a few of my own. Anyway, so that pamphlet, yes, it does work, but for me, it was pretty complicated. So I did some research, and I found some algorithms, and I tweaked those algorithms just a little bit to make it go quicker, and then I learned how to put together and work out a Rubik's Cube puzzle, and that's what we're going to look at today. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. My channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below. That way you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. One more thing, don't forget to check down the description for my social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I would love it if you would follow me there too. Now, let's do this walkthrough Rubik's Cube and see if we can solve one on our very own. I hope you're really excited to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. And you know what? If you follow this tutorial in 20 minutes or less, you'll be able to solve your own Rubik's Cube. But I've actually gotten it down to 2 minutes. So here is the Rubik's Cube we're going to work on. But first, I want to show you some of the basics. When I solve a Rubik's Cube, I have the white on the bottom, the yellow on the top. You need to know that on a Rubik's Cube, these center pieces that are here never ever move. So in a sense, this white one is always opposite this yellow one. This red is always opposite the orange, and then blue, of course, is always opposite green. Those never change. We have corner pieces and we have edge pieces. Okay, so in this, you're going to have to learn a few algorithms, and those algorithms are always linked to a letter. So if you say, like, for instance, the letter F stands for the front here. So if you were to see front, that means you're going to turn the front one time clockwise, okay? So if you were to see R, you would turn R, which is the right side, one time clockwise. Sometimes you might see R2, which means R 2 times clockwise. Does that make sense? So there's also left, and then there's up, okay? So another part is sometimes the letter will have an apostrophe after that, and that really means prime. So instead of going clockwise, if I would have R apostrophe or R prime, I would go counterclockwise. So those are just some important things that you need to know. Also, we are going to do a maneuver that you're just going to need to learn and practice. And a lot of times you do this over and over and over again just to get the repetition and learn how to do it. It's called the trigger finger. So I'm going to use the right side first. So what I do now is I have my thumb here over top of these 4 pieces. I'm supported on the back. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick 2 fingers up here, and I got this index finger ready. So what I'm going to do first is turn, trigger, and back. That's a right trigger. So realistically, if I do that 3 more times, this Rubik's Cube will be solved again. Ready? Right trigger back, right trigger back, right trigger back. See? You also have to learn to do it on the left side because they're the same maneuver you'll have to do on the left as well. It's always important to make sure you hold this solid, because if you have a loose cube or a speed cube, some of these whole things can just maneuver and you just knock yourself out of there. All right, so what we are going to do now is we are going to solve a Rubik's Cube. Let's start by solving this Rubik's Cube right now. So first things first, all tutorials really start out by telling you to create a daisy. So we have the yellow piece on top, and you want these 4 edge pieces to be white. Well, good news. There are only 4 edge pieces, so I just got to get them from wherever they are up to the top here. So let's look around. Here's an edge piece, here's an edge piece, here's an edge piece, and here's my 4th edge piece. So which is the easiest ones to get there? Well, this one's very easy because all I have to do is turn it up, and there it is, already lined up. Okay, now let's find another one. This one's pretty easy. Same exact maneuver, up and there. All right, so now I have this one here. Looks to be easy, but the problem is if I move this up, I move this one out of the way. That doesn't make any sense. Let's not do that. Instead, let's just turn the top one turn, and I moved it from the side here to here, up and over. Done. Pretty simple, eh? So now I want to get this edge piece to here. So to do that, I need to get it out of this location. So I'm going to rotate this one just 1 time. So I took it from here down to here. Now I'm just going to spin this around, the top piece around, until it lines up where I need it to be. All it is learning the cube and getting it to line up into the places you need to be. So there is my daisy. Isn't that nice? From the daisy now, we need to make a white plus or a white cross on the bottom. So that's what we're going to be working on now. So we take our daisy and we find the edge piece that's corresponding. So this is white on the top, blue here on the side. So now I'm going to look for the corresponding blue center. And there I have it, right? Now I'm going to do what's called F2. So I'm going to turn, there's 1, 2. So I took that white piece here, and now it's on the bottom. Okay, now let's go to our next petal. I have it on orange, so let's go find our corresponding orange. Same 2 turns, 1, 2. Next petal, it's on green. Let's find our corresponding green. There it is, 2 turns, 1, 2. Last one is orange. I'm sorry, is red. Let's find our corresponding red. 1, 2. So our daisy that was once on the top is now an orange. It's now a white cross on the bottom. I don't know why I keep saying orange. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to figure these last 3 pieces to have the white tiles put on them. I got lucky and I already have that one in there. All right, so here's something cool. This is a less than common placement. So I don't want to have these here on the side. I need to put them onto the top and then move them to the other side. So what I'm going to do is to get it out of this placement is I'm going to do a trigger move. 1 up and over and then down. That's the trigger move, remember? So I took it from here all the way up here. Now, to move this piece down, I need to correspond it or turn it to where it's opposite of a blank spot or a spot that's not white. So this one is opposite of green. Let's do 2 trigger moves now. 1 up, over, down. 1 up, over, down. So now I took it from here, and now it's here based on that double trigger move. All right, so we can finally solve this. So since this white one is corresponding to an orange corner, I'm going to turn until that orange corner matches the orange middle. And now I'm going to do a trigger move. Up, over, down, and that piece went here from here to here. All right, now let's keep looking around. Ooh, here's one that's red. Let's find the red center. It's a left trigger move. So we're going to take this one from here, and it's going to go right there. Up, over, down. See how it's working out? Now I'm going to go find my other pieces. I'm just going to do this one right here, lined up on top here. Trigger move up, over, down, up, over, down. I'm going to bring this one over to where the green is triangle. Move this piece down to here. Boom. Now let's find our last piece. Here it is. Bring up there. Slide it over to the red. Done. So now we have all the white on the bottom and the bottom row matches. Since the bottom row is done, now we're going to focus on the bottom 2 rows. And so for that, we're going to go back to the top. And so remember these edge pieces? We want to focus on the edge pieces that have nothing to do with the yellow square. So see how it's yellow on this one? See how this one has yellow? We don't want to mess with those, so I'm going to just do this one first. All right, so this orange has blue on the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to where the blue matches the center. And look again to the top. I have orange. Is orange on the right? Nope. And I'm looking at the middle tile. Is orange on the left? Yes, it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the whole top once to the left like that and do a left trigger. Up, over, down. Well, that was exciting, but in that turn, you notice that I moved this one out of the way. So I've got to bring it back now. Where is it? There it is. Orange diagonal, trigger move up, over, down. All right, so in that, we made this piece all solid, kept the white down. Oh, our blue solid as well. So now I just got to figure out these 2 sides. Go back up to the top. Nope, it's got yellow. Nope, it has yellow. Nope, it has yellow. Oh, this one's here. It's already lined up with our middle center being red. We love that. Green is on the right, so I'm going to shift this over once. Do a trigger up, over, down. We just moved the white piece out. Let's bring it back. Up, over, down. All right, so red is good, blue is good, orange is good, and I still have all those at the bottom. So now let's go back to the top. This one has yellow, this one has yellow, this one has yellow, this one has orange, green's on this side, over, shift, up, down, just like we did before. And that's how it moves quickly. All of our colors now at the bottom 2 rows are solid. So this is not the same cube we've been working on, but I wanted to show you something because there is another not common thing that could happen when you're trying to get all the colors to match on the bottom 2 rows. So if I go back up to my edge pieces, remember I don't want anything to do with the yellow one. So orange is connected to the yellow. Oop, this red's connected to yellow. The blue is yellow. I have no edge pieces at the top, but I'm still not ready. So what I need to do is I actually need to move one of these pieces here to the top. So all I do then is just my trigger move. Ready? Up, over, down. And so now my white's on the bottom, except this piece has been moved. So I got to line it back up, bring it over to the green, up, over, down, have this all on the solid on the bottom. Those all look good. Let's go up to our edge piece on the top, and now I have a green connected to orange, so I can continue on solving this Rubik's Cube. All right, now let's get back to solving the cube we were working on. Now for the first algorithm that you're going to have to learn. If at all possible, you want to have a yellow piece at the 12 and the 9. I don't have that. I don't have any of that. So what I'm going to do is I want to at least have one on this side, okay? So my first algorithm is this. It's F, it's U, it's R, it's U prime, R prime, and then F again. I'm sorry, it was F prime, not F again. All right, so what I have here is I have a line. Well, that's great. That's getting towards it. I'm trying to get to the plus here. So now let's do that same algorithm again. We have F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. So now what I've done is I've kept the bottom all squared and ready to go, and I've changed this a little bit. So now I want to bring this over to the 12 and 9. Remember how I told you about that before? Do that algorithm again. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime, and now I've created my plus. That's excellent. Well, in creating my plus, I also created my fish, and that's the next move I wanted. That doesn't always happen, but I'm excited it did. Sometimes you might find your fish like this, or like this, or like this, right? But you always want to make sure your fish is downward facing left. So now that we have our fish, we have our next algorithm. So even if you just had your plus, you would do the same algorithm until you get to the fish, but since we're here, we're going to continue on. So the new algorithm is R, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. Now, on the first time, I got it all set up and great. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes you might have to do that same algorithm again, so don't get frustrated. I want to give you an alternate ending to figuring out the yellow since mine went so easy before. All right, so just like before, I want to start out. I want to have one at the 12 spot, one at the 9 spot if possible, and I happen to have that. Let's do our algorithm. F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. And so now what you see here is I have my plus, okay? So what I'm going to do now with my algorithm is I'm going to do R, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. Not there yet. What I like to do is if I don't have any yellow on this side, I like to move it to that spot. Let's do our algorithm again. R, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. I'm back to my plus. Let's bring our yellow spot back over here. R, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. And what do I have here? I have my fish. Now I could bring it down, do that algorithm again. R, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. Move on to the corners. So from there, moving there, we're going to start now working on the corners because these corners are out of place and we need to make sure we line them up in place. All right, so all I did here was just bring my orange together because that was there. But this corner is good, but this one is wrong, right? Because red is here. So this one actually should be over here. So now we're going to do the next algorithm. This one's actually pretty challenging, so pay close attention. So if you have any corners that are right, and they're matching, you keep that to your left. I just happen to have the orange. Sometimes you don't have that. So pay attention to this one, okay? So we're going to start out first with L prime, then U, then R, U prime, L, U, U, R prime, U, R, U, U, R prime. So I've kept my yellow on the top, everything's right there, but now my corners are lined up. Do you see how they're all lined up nice like that? They're actually all in the right place where they should be. So then I'm going to move on to the final algorithm, but if your corners are still out, do that same algorithm again. Well, this is really exciting. So let's do this. F2, U, R prime L, F2, L prime R, U, F2. So what I did there is I now have created a solid base to keep working from. So if you do that, you want to keep this towards the back and do that same algorithm again. F2, U, R prime L, F2, L prime R, U, F2. And what did we just do? We solved the Rubik's Cube. really hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Now, is this the fastest possible way to do it? Absolutely not. I've gotten it down to about 2 minutes, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to get it done any quicker than that. So in this video, I actually used a Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to link one of these down in the description if you don't have them. But I also picked up one of these, and it's actually a speed Rubik's Cube. It's not made by Rubix, it's made by another company. I'll link that down in the description if it's something that interests you. It's just a little looser than the other one. Anyway, this is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire walkthrough of how to solve a Rubik's Cube. It's pretty sweet, isn't it? Anyway, you may have noticed this awesome shiplap behind me, painted in alabaster white, because that's what Joanna Gaines says to do. Anyway, not that long ago, I actually installed this myself on a DIY. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link that DIY video right up here. And I would love it if you would click on this link. And by the magic of the internet, when you click right up here, I will join you at that review. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.